What is up, everybody? We are back in the building. We got off to a very good start already. This is going to be a great show. If you have not already, please hit the like button, share the video, do me that favor, and subscribe to the channel. If you are not already subscribed, we will probably have some new people here. If you like what you hear, like what you see, feel free to subscribe to the channel. There's plenty room for more, and we are on our way up. Your boy is locked and loaded. We are fully cooking. I got videos going up every day, and I am really enjoying myself and this journey that I am on. And that's what it's all about. Today, hey, and that's what it's all about. Okay, so the sound is good. I just checked my own sound. We're gravy. We're cooking. We're hot. So I got to tell you a little backstory very quickly before I get into this debate breakdown. So the other day, Adam 22, he hit me up. He asked me if I would like to go to an event with him and my good buddy Trap Lord Ross. I really like Trap Lord Ross, not just as a content creator, but he's a very genuine dude, really cool. So I say, okay, what's this event? And he says, hey, it's a Destiny event. And you know, my first thing was like, okay, am I gonna be working? Because if I'm gonna be working, you need to pay me. And he's like, no, it's not work. It's just like we're gonna chill, we're gonna hang out, vibe out a little bit. So then I'm like, yo, who the hell is Destiny? And he's like, oh, he's this like liberal, super liberal guy who goes around the country debating people. And I'm like, okay. And I say, I think I might have heard of this guy. I wasn't too sure if it was the same person. So I go and I Google Destiny. And if you know anything about Destiny, the first thing that pops up is some video game. And then as I scroll down, I see the guy, doesn't look like, much, smaller, Caucasian dude. And I'm like, okay. And I watch a couple of his videos and I'm like, okay, usual liberal talking points. So, long story short, pull up to Adam's house. We roll over to the place. There's we're sitting outside waiting to go in. There's a New York Times reporter there. And he walks up to Adam and he's like, hey, what's up? I know who you are. You want to interview? And he's like, you need to interview this guy because this guy's the like political guy. So the guy's like, do you mind if I interview you? And I'm like, okay. And we sit down and he asks me some questions about like liberals, the conservative movement, MAGA, Trump, etc. And I'm like, yo, I am actually being interviewed by the New York Times right now. So we go in, and I promise you, I did not show up to this thing to debate. Adam's like, you should get up on stage. He kept saying that. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not getting up to debate. I'm not giving anybody anything, for free. I'm just on this like whole know your worth journey. So understand, this ain't just something that I'm pulling out, pause, for no jumper. It's kind of like in general, I'm just starting to come into this like realization that like, bro, you are talented. You have something that is, you have something of value to add to any space that you're in, and you need to be compensated accordingly unless you're, doing a favor, like a one-time thing. So I'm like, I'm not getting paid. I'm not debating. They if they want these Bucci bars, you know what I'm saying? If they want this vibranium that I'll be spitting, somebody gonna have to pay. So we go into the Destiny event, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, it was super boring. I was like, should I have brought a book? Because all the people that came to debate Destiny, they didn't really come to debate. They were actually fans of his. So they're getting on stage, and the first thing they're saying is like, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not I'm not MAGA. I'm none of those things. I'm a Democrat. I'm a liberal. They're basically doing all these disclaimers. And so my mind is like, why did you pay more money to debate? Because the debate spots are paid. You have to pay to debate Destiny, right? I didn't pay. Adam bought a ticket, and then he was just like, me and Ross were his plus ones and plus twos, right? And so we got in for free. So I'm like, I'm not debating. So I'm just sitting there, just kind of laughing at the situation because I'm like, this is boring as hell. This is gonna go down as like not a good event because I'm sure people are gonna be like, why is everybody here agreeing with this guy Destiny when this is supposed to be and was marketed and sold as a debate? So I won't be mad at them for that. So I'm just chilling. And then the guy who's producing the whole situation comes up. And we had talked to him earlier, super cool guy. I forgot his name. But he was super cool. Has a website called YouTube channel called Pang Burn. Pang Burn? Yeah, Pang Burn. Pangburn. Go check him out. He's the one who produces all this stuff and just a super like personable dude who's just like, if he wasn't a radical leftist, we could be friends, right? And so the look on this guy's face is the look of total desperation. He's like, I've come all the way to LA. We were denied at 3 different venues. We got this venue last minute, and now we don't have anybody here who's actually trying to debate Destiny. So Adam's like, he comes over to our table and he's just kind of chopping it up. And Adam's like, yeah, this guy should debate. And I'm like, I'm not debating. You're not doing that. And then I just tell the guy, I don't debate for free. And the guy's like, I will pay you right now to get on that stage and debate Destiny. And I'm like, now you talking. How much you gonna pay me? And then so I'm not gonna tell you the amount. It was beautiful though. The amount was great. But he was like, I will give you this money right now in cash if you go up there and debate Destiny. So I was like, all right, man, I'll go up there and debate him because you're paying me. It's the beauty of capitalism. You're paying me, and I'm willing to do what you need me to do, to get that money. So he pulls out the money, hands it to me. I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, when you want me to go up? He was like, next, because we had already went through 4 people, and it was a snore fest, right? It was so boring that if you look at when we watch this clip, my debate with Destiny is actually going to be first in the line of debates. Was not first. I was like the 4th or 5th person to debate Destiny, but they put my debate with him to the front. It was the longest one, easily the most entertaining one, and it happened 4th or 5th, but they put it first because they just weren't getting a whole lot from these lefties, right? And the idea that someone can't even disagree with you for the sake of informing the audience, like the fact that none of these people were even able to play devil's advocate, right? The fact that none of these people were even able to play devil's advocate, that shows you that this is the liberal hive mind. They don't even consider the opposing argument. Like if you tell me, Brandon, I need you to argue in favor of Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, and Hillary Clinton, I can give you an argument. I can present an argument that is in favor of the left, right? I could talk about Joe Biden with the CHIPS Act. I could talk about Hillary Clinton, her experience, her being able to have Bill Clinton, one of the a person who's considered one of the greatest presidents in American history, in the White House with her in an advisory role. I could talk about Bernie Sanders and how a lot of our African-American people can actually benefit, even members of my own family would be able to benefit from some of the social programs that he was presenting. I can argue from that side. That's because when I formulate my opinions, I look at the information from both sides. So if you need somebody to go in there and argue for the Democrats because we're at a Charlie Kirk event, I could say like, Charlie, you were totally wrong on Trayvon Martin, right? And we could argue that down, right? That's because we're not a hive mind. That's because we're not just locked in whatever orders we're given from the top. We just follow along like drones and don't question anything. That really scared me. It didn't even scare me, but it really bothered me. And it shows you how, their movement or whatever they call it is actually self-defeating, because you need people who have a certain level of autonomy so that you can be presented with realistic challenges to your ideas. And if you don't have that, you're done. Let me give you a little bit of a sample of what it was like before me and Destiny debated.
Woo-hoo. I just want to preface that I am definitely not a political whiz here.
That's fine. Speak right in the mic and then you're good. You can do whatever you want to be. Okay.
And not only that, I unfortunately work in defense, so I'm very conflicted about what's going on right now, and don't want to be doxxed, so here we go.
Okay.
All right, so if facts matter, how do we wake people up who've been emotionally checked out of politics? I noticed that a lot of people, especially in California, they act like they're above politics. They want to play kumbaya, saying both sides, whatever, like both sides are wrong, or they don't have the emotional energy to give a shit anymore. And they don't want to be that draining moral superiority, like virtue signaling downer. And do you think political apathy is a form of privilege or burnout?
Nobody was more bored with that question than Destiny. So I want you to understand that even though she was very beautiful, this lady was bringing nothing that these guys could call content worthy. And there was, after that, it was just a bunch of guys who wanted to circle jerk with Destiny instead of actually challenge any of his ideas, right? They were literally like, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Trump. I'm actually a Destiny fan. Even two of the guys were like, hey, we couldn't get any more of the general admission tickets. So we just went ahead and bought some of the debate tickets so we can get into the venue. I want to let you guys, I'm just trying to let you guys know the premise of this conversation. I was not prepared. I was not someone who planned on debating. But I still went on that stage because as a conservative, you have to be fearless and you have to be confident in what you know for sure. And with that being said, we're going to get right into this debate. And guess what? Even though I was the fifth person to debate, Destiny and his crew, they put me right in the front of the video. And they even put me on the thumbnail, which is crazy. And they made me look like Thanos. Thank you, Destiny. I appreciate that. So here's the whole Pang Burn situation. Go check them out. Show them some love for making this possible. Do I say a statement or you ask?
Whatever you want to do. I think Trump's wrong about basically everything, so we got a lot to talk about.
So here's where we decide what we're going to debate, right? And I'm going to come with another idea immediately. And what you're going to notice is Destiny is going to immediately pivot away from the idea that I presented for debate because he knows deep down inside that what I said is fundamentally true.
In terms of ground to cover.
The far left is nothing more than a coalition of fragmented groups standing on a platform of pure hypocrisy.
Okay.
That's my belief.
Can I ask, when you say the far left, who are we talking about
These
here?
people right here in this room.
Okay. Okay, so help me start this one out, okay? Because this is my common rebuttal, okay? So when I ask people, like, who are the far left, okay? I get an answer like this, okay?
Right.
But then when they ask me and I talk about the far right, I would say the same about, like, Congress. So, like, I feel like as much as I love my fans and you guys are powerful, I don't know the capacity for changing the character of the United States or California, even LA. But for Republicans, I feel like they're changing the character of the entire country at an accelerated rate in a way that I really don't like.
So if you listen to what he said, he considers Congress to be far right, even the Democrats, right? That's where he positions himself as a far leftist radical. To him, Hakeem Jeffries is far right. To him, Bernie Sanders is far right. To him, who else is over there? Gavin Newsom would be far right. Now, these people are pretty Looney Tunes as it is to the left, right? So the fact that he considers them far right is absolutely crazy. But hey, it's his show to run. Now, he tells us he immediately devalues his audience, right? He says, even though I love you and you're powerful, I question your ability to basically change the landscape of American politics. He starts off with a disclaimer. Hey guys, we're really not going to get anything done. That's what he's saying. You guys don't have the ability to change the landscape of politics in America. Whereas the right, and this is his words, is actually, the conservatives are actually changing the foundational, fundamental fabric of American politics. And is the right doing that? Not really. We're really just pulling things back to the middle, restoring our country's political apparatus to normalcy. That's what we're doing. But to a far left radical, yes, this would be like we're changing everything for the worse. But remember, Joe Rogan was a liberal. Joe Rogan is liberal. I don't even like Joe Rogan because he's too liberal for me. Elon Musk was a liberal, right? Why is it that all the people who were considered far left back in the day, all of a sudden they are now voting Republican? Because the far left wing of the Democrat Party has gone to extremism. Just before I got on that stage, they made a joke about Charlie Kirk getting assassinated. A chair or something fell and it made a loud bang. And I'm not going to say who did it, but one of these guys grabbed his neck and went like this. Oh, and the whole crowd, 200 people, started laughing. And then he did it again. So that's what they think is funny. That's what they think is acceptable in politics. And then they wonder why they won't ever be able to change anything. I'm just telling you the facts as they happen. Let's keep going. So he's already pivoted away from my premise and already told his audience that they're really just wasting their time. They're not going to be able to change anything.
How can I make these two things equally threatening? Like make me care about, crazy college kids that are far left.
Well, the youth are the future, right? That's what we've been taught since we were born. The children are the future. So the reason why the far left leaning college kids are an issue is because these are the people who old people like me will hand this country over to. And we're in a time where, it's an unprecedented access to new information, right? So you pretty much can go out and find something that supports what you want to believe within 2 or 3 seconds or minutes. It wasn't like that in the 60s. It wasn't like that in the 70s or the 80s. People had to actually go search for, they had to go do research. You had to go to a library, open a book. And when you're searching to find what you want to believe, like support for what you want to believe, oftentimes you'll find things that go against what you believe, but they make a lot of sense, right? Research is necessary. Now you put on TikTok, you got 100 people, an echo chamber saying exactly what you're thinking, and you really don't have a need to do any type of research. And that's the age we're in.
Sure. So I don't necessarily disagree with some of that. I mean, I would say that every age brings with it like access to information in ways that we didn't have before, right? And,
So he doesn't necessarily disagree with all of that. So that means you agree with a lot of that. And that is me. I am trying to find common ground. That should be the goal of every political conversation. Common ground, because we have more in common than we have different. But if you go out and pretend to care about a bunch of crap that no one in America really cares about, virtue signaling, well, our common ground is going to be disintegrating under our feet, because now you're introducing new things into the conversation that has nothing to do with me or you, but you need to weaponize it so you can have a reason to hate me.
The printing press and radio and then TV. I think was Vietnam the one that they called the TV war, whatever, the first, where you had people that had like video footage of soldiers coming back wounded and stuff, and you had a lot of college kids protesting that. For Iraq, that might have been the first time we had like embedded units where we were getting like reports like on the ground and video footage and everything. And now we're seeing, 4K drone high def footage of people blowing each other up in Ukraine, Russia, Gaza, Israel. I do agree the information is increasing. The one thing I guess I don't like or that I'm confused about when it comes to college stuff.
What I need you to do is understand that Destiny is a very clever person. And I understood what he was doing the minute he started doing it. He's creating mental imagery of past anti-government causes so that these plebes who are in the audience, right, these uninitiated plebes can feel like they are a part of a history of anti-government protest. Oh yeah, if you look at Vietnam, if you look at Iraq, if you situations where the government and the people, fell on two different sides of the coin. He's trying to make these people believe that they are revolutionaries. But I think they're just people who aren't even they have a lack of evolution, because it seems like they operate on the same mental plane as a single-celled organism. But hey, I'm not going to insult them. But what I'm telling you is this is all a part of the theater. Let's stoke up that fervor. Let's make them feel like they're a part of this ongoing battle between the righteous citizens and the tyrannical military industrial complex that goes out and does damage and harm to people all over the world. That's what he was trying to do. I'm like, why is this guy talking about Vietnam? But I know why he's doing that, and understand that within the word salad is embedded what they call dog whistles.
When I look at like kids who are 18 to 22, aren't you supposed to be like kind of stupid? Isn't that like the time of your life to be crazy? Because if I talk to some like 20.
So he's saying college kids are supposed to be stupid. Who said that before? Kamala Harris. How did that work out for her?
Year-old kid, and I was like, tell me about your political outlook. And he's like, well, I'm a strong supporter of institutions and fiscal responsibility. I'm like, God damn, this is the most boring fucking household ever. Right? Like, aren't they always like crazy? Isn't that normal?
Well, Kamala Harris said the same thing about college kids being stupid, and look what happened to her. She didn't get elected, right? College kids are not stupid. They're in school for a reason. You know who's stupid? People sitting out on drugs, doing crime. They're stupid. College kids are in an age of where they're learning, and they're trying to grow into people who can like facilitate the continued prosperity of this country. Mm-hmm. The problem is we're not giving them a chance to learn through experience what older people like their parents already know.
What do you think is? So I do agree that college kids, for demographic reasons, and like if you're going to college, you're probably a little bit more intelligent. You go there to get more intelligent. Like I agree with that. Have you ever played like board games or whatever?
Have I ever played board games?
There's sometimes people are making like role playing games. They've got like intelligence and you got like wisdom. Right. Some people might call like street smarts or book smarts or whatever. However people are life experience, common sense versus knowing things. Like college kids can be smart, but oh my God, they can also be fucking stupid, right? Like you'll see like a guy who's 22, graduating college, maybe 21 early, like drunk driving or making the dumbest decision ever for the first time, crashes his car, gets his girlfriend pregnant, whatever stuff. Because like, man, their kids are dumb. They make dumb mistakes. They do that. It'll happen. There's no way, like part of the learning.
Yeah, they make dumb mistakes like giving you $40 to listen to you spew word salad and call them stupid. This guy is literally calling his own audience stupid. There was nothing but college kids in there. He was literally calling his own audience stupid. And they're just sitting in there cheesing like a bunch of tards. This guy is like Kamala Harris, but can actually string sentences together. They're still just as useless and meaningless, but at least they get out in a seemingly coherent way. He literally disrespected his entire audience. Like they showed up to some type of humiliation ritual, and they're just sitting there eating it up. They're laughing at me like I'm dumb. But the guy you just paid to come here speak been calling you dumb since this thing started. Let's keep going. Wait till we go over the comments.
Experience is making those mistakes and being crazy and being cringe, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg's not stupid. He was that age at one point, and he created $1 billion company. The more access you have to information, the less ignorant you are of what's going on. I could see the college kid, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something, like back in those days. Yeah, you kind of were expected to be a little bit dumb and gullible, but now people have information. They have answers to things at the touch of a button. I don't think they're as ignorant or as stupid as we would like them to be.
But I mean, like,
I think the Democrats banked on that, and it like blew up in their face. And I think that's one of the hypocritical aspects of the far left, is that they expect everyone to be so dumb that they don't actually think, about the issues that they're expected to go vote on. And they just take somebody like Maxine Waters' word for it, somebody like Kamala Harris. Like, I don't think Kamala Harris is smarter than the average 21-year-old college student, honestly.
I think
they can string a sentence together. She can't.
Kamala Harris, if she can't string a sentence together, I have no idea how much you're paying for Trump translations, because there's no way you could understand anything that guy's saying. But like, okay, but let me just back up one more time to this, and then we can move on to the next thing.
I'm going to say round one goes to me, because he says we're going to move on, right? I don't know how people are like, you got cooked. Cooked where? I was the only one actually making coherent statements, observations, and saying things that actually made sense. Destiny, the less he had to say about what I was saying, he just started talking faster and introducing things that had nothing to do with what was being discussed. If you think that's a win, you're slow. Straight up. Full stop. I think round one safely goes to me. That's looking like damn Canelo versus Terrence Crawford. Where did I get? Oh, you got cooked. Where? Let's keep going. So this was this last point he's going to make. And then I proceed to cook his ass even more.
Do you have any kids?
Yeah.
You ever have somebody who doesn't have kids try to tell you how to be a parent?
Here's the real question.
Yeah.
Do they?
No. Well, most of them probably don't. But I'm just saying that, like, no matter how smart somebody.
Just to let you know, after this ended, the host, he said, how many of, just by a show of hands, how many of you have children? 2 people raised their hand in an audience of 200 people. 2 people raised their hands in an audience of 200 people when asked, do any of them have children? Let that sink in.
Every parent's had that experience where somebody who doesn't have kids is there telling them, what they're doing. And that's not about them being smart or stupid or whatever. It's just they don't have the experience.
This is why your premise is totally bad faith, because your audience is a bunch of people who don't deal with the everyday struggles that you and I deal with. So you can talk to them. Listen, do you know how much I care about an illegal criminal alien immigrant when my daughter says, hey, Dad, I need $4,000 for club volleyball? I'm like, I don't care about that. This is my issue that I have to deal with today. And when they have kids and they have to deal with paying for daycare, feeding those kids, providing a place for those kids to live, they're going to care a lot less about some guy in El Salvador getting due process when he's a criminal and he should be deported immediately. 1,000% truth. When you get some responsibility, other people's problems are going to be less of a concern to you. You're not even going to care about what's going on with your next door neighbor. Once you got to feed some kids, once you got to pay for college, once you got to pay for daycare and private school, you're going to join the 80% of people on the planet who don't care, or the other 20% of people on the planet who are glad that it's you and not them. Bro, I was cooking, bro. I was cooking this man in the first 2 minutes of conversation, and everything was fundamentally true in facts. What do you guys want? Now you guys can see why Trump won, because people want to be talked to, not tricked.
Depends on what your lived experience is, though, right?
No.
Like when I was growing up, okay, there were family members of mine that were criminal illegal immigrants, because half of my family comes from Cuba. But now the difference is my mom loves the illegal immigrants from Cuba. She doesn't like the ones from South America or from Mexico.
Cubans traditionally hate illegals.
Well, once they're here, they do.
Of
But
course, that's the way it's supposed to
I'm
be.
just saying, you can't say, you want to say Cubans hate illegals. They all wanted Elian Gonzalez to stay when he floated over.
He was legal.
No, he wasn't. They
So
caught him.
did he
They were
touch the
illegally
soil?
immigrating. Wait. They were immigrating illegally.
Okay. But did he touch the soil?
So do asylum seekers.
No. You're being disingenuous. There was a law where Cuban immigrants.
Yes, we had a
they
wet foot,
touch
dry
the
foot. I
soil, they're
understand.
legal. So let what's his name? Elian Gonzalez. Hey, let him stay. I want him to stay because that was the law of the land. So that's the difference.
But we're not talking about just what the no, we're not talking about just what the law is. I'm just saying that people can have
We're
different.
not talking about the laws.
We're not talking about just what the law is.
Oh, just with the laws. Well,
No.
that's what I live my life based on.
Well, we can change the laws, right?
You can, so go vote. Stop complaining.
We can do both. I have a First Amendment and the right to vote.
and
But I'm just saying it's interesting to give so much credence to Cuban immigrants, but not to people from Mexico or South America.
Don't love them as much.
Why?
Because the Cubans believe what I believe. And they
So do a lot
understand
of
what I
Mexican
understand.
immigrants and everything too.
And I love those Mexican legal citizens.
Sure.
But as far as the illegal immigrants, ship them back.
Sure. Okay. That's a respect.
This is a very simple thing to understand.
Well, it's not as simple. It's a complicated conversation.
It's really not.
If it was so simple, then Trump wouldn't have failed miserably for his first 4 years, and we wouldn't go these 4 years without him also failing miserably. By the end of these 4 years, Trump will not have any immigration legislation, number one, and he won't deport more than 1 million or 2 million people, number two. I guarantee you by the end of these 4 years.
That's totally fine. So why are you guys using that as a political talking point? If
Well,
Trump
you wanted to bring it to legal immigration, so that's what we're
what
talking
you're
about.
actually afraid of is that I didn't bring anything to illegal immigration. This guy is the one who brought it to illegal immigration because I mentioned that I don't, when you have kids and stuff, you don't care about what some illegal immigrant is going through. Now, and then he started talking about his mom and she's Cuban. Back it up some. She started talking about his mom and how she's Cuban and all this stuff, and Elian Gonzalez and all that stuff. He just, I don't think. Let me shoot him some bell, as Ricky would say. I think he was so like brain dead from going up against the idiots that he was going up against before because they weren't competition. They were just like, they were glazing him. I don't think he was really ready for Tuck Thanos. Me, that's my new name when I debate Destiny. Tuck Thanos. And he was like, yo, this guy's cooking. This guy is cooking. Get this boy some milk. But we're gonna keep on playing this. Y'all want to see it. I got cooked. Let's keep going. What's going to happen is the same thing that happened with Kamala Harris during the campaign. Trump came up with a good idea that gained a lot of traction when it came to getting votes, and Kamala Harris jumped on it. No tax on tips. You're afraid that the Democrats will adopt Trump's policies because they are the policies that resonate with voters. So you have to take the college kids, the people with no real responsibility yet. I'm not trying to devalue you guys' experience. I'm just telling you, have you ever looked at a freaking mortgage that was like $5,000? Have you ever? Most people have not at this stage in their life.
But people aren't voting all the time on wisdom.
I
saw Republicans celebrating the fact that they were going to have a tax deduction on the interest rate that you pay on a car loan.
I saw you
None
guys
of these people have any idea what this even means, but they were celebrating it. So the idea that people have some nuanced understanding of tax brackets.
Republicans celebrate a tax on car loan. I saw you guys celebrate some dude getting shot in the neck and make a joke and laugh about it. Which one is worse?
I would say the one that's worse is the president tweeting videos of Venezuelans getting blown up in the ocean. Wait,
how did we get from taxes on car loans to Venezuelans getting blown up in the ocean? He said that we are so dumb that we don't know. Weeze doesn't. I should talk like that. Weeze doesn't know what it means to get to make your interest on your car loan a tax write-off. This guy has been hanging around college students too long, and they make him feel like he is highly intelligent. We don't know what interest on a car loan is. We don't know what it means to make that interest tax deductible. That means we'll be able to write it off on our taxes, Destiny. That means if every month I pay $150, I pay $100 in interest on my car loan, which this was especially benefit Black folks because Black folks be getting like 19 and 24% interest rates. We're talking about some real cashola right here if Trump institutes that policy. There's some people who pay interest that's equivalent or more than the value of the actual car. To have that as a tax write-off would be a beautiful thing. They don't even know what that means. But this is the liberal hive mind. Everyone's dumb. We're smart. You guys don't know what you're talking about. That ain't what America is about. Because if we don't know what loan interest is, then how do we walk into the dealership and get a car? But this is what he thinks of you. And this is what he thinks of his audience.
You acknowledge that if celebrating the Charlie Kirk thing is bad, the Venezuelan thing is real bad.
The Venezuelan issue, why is that bad for me as an American?
Do you not care when other people are killed?
Do you know that people in other countries don't give a damn about what happens to you in America?
I don't care. This is our
government.
government. Yes, I have. This is our government blowing up other people. Why am I not allowed to care about that?
But you care about the government and what they do when it's something you don't like. But when the leadership of the government is duly elected, you go and you tear out the validity of it as if like you don't respect the government. So why care about what they're doing?
If Biden was also
overthrow it with
no,
the
if
insurrection
Biden,
like
if
January
Biden, yeah,
6th.
I know you guys tried that and failed once. If Biden was doing this, if Biden was doing it, I would criticize Biden as well. I know it's inconceivable to MAGA sometimes. You could hold your own accountable because you guys are incapable of doing it. But when Biden does bad things, I'll criticize Biden for doing bad things.
Can you answer one question for me?
Sure.
Who's sitting in the White House?
Right now, probably Stephen Miller.
So
what do you mean?
Go on. So clearly we didn't fail. We were pissed off. We went down.
Wait, what is this? The conversation is not about who won the election. You guys are the ones that believe the election results. I do believe the election results.
Your whole existence is about who won the election. This whole event is about who won the election.
We're having a conversation about policy and leadership right now, right?
We are, because I said the hypocrisy, and you're showing the hypocrisy.
What's the hypocrisy?
Look, you have a kid, I have a kid. What's the price of eggs right now?
I don't know. I'm rich.
That's something that Yes. So give me some. Look how dumb his audience is. What's the price of eggs right now? I don't know. I'm rich. And they're laughing. I thought you guys were against the oligarchs and the millionaires and the billionaires. I thought you wanted to take what they have and redistribute the wealth. See, but they're really not against that. They just want the money taken out of your hands and placed into theirs. They want to displace the rich so they can fill in their place, take their place. That's it. This guy just said, I don't know, I'm rich. He's not worried about the problems of the average American. But he doesn't care about an American being able to put food on the table for their children, but somehow he wants you to believe that he cares about a Venezuelan person getting blown up somewhere way out in the Atlantic Ocean. It's cap. It's cap. Ain't no way you don't give a damn about your neighbor who live next door to you and their problems, but you suddenly give a damn about the problems of people 10,000 miles away. Let's keep it a buck. This guy is literally just, and now Brick Baby's calling him an a-hole, and it's like, I'm not going to say he's an a-hole, but you could just kind of tell it's a grift. And these are the people like Adam and Josh. They love these dudes. I said, man, I cooked this dude. Adam was like, are you sure about that? I'm like, oh, of course you can't agree. There's no way in hell that this guy, man, come on. Funny.
You know what I do know is that the price of groceries as a whole has gone up over the last year, and no conservatives talking about it. Explain that one for me.
You know, I've been tracking that.
Okay.
We're living in inflationary times.
Oh, now they're just inflationary times.
Listen, but at this point, I'm just making jokes because he's cracking jokes. So I'm like, comic relief hour. We're not going to talk about anything serious. Let's muck it up. We're joking now. So I'm joking because he hasn't addressed any serious issue that I brought up. Just pivot and move the goalpost. Somewhere in here, we talk about COVID-19, and I'm going to skip that part because I ain't trying to get my channel demonetized. Destiny got like 1 million subscribers. He has a YouTube rep we could talk to. I don't.
Interesting that from 2020 to 2024, it was Biden's inflation. From 2024 to now, it just is a thing that happens.
No. No, it's directly connected to Biden's horrible management of the government, and Trump's going to fix it. Let me say
What was
this.
the big thing? Wait, what do you think was the number one thing that contributed to inflation through Biden's presidency?
I believe that, well, one thing was killing a bunch of chickens due to some mysterious. That was Biden's reason.
Try something else. Try something else. What did anything else happen?
Is that not? Is that
anything else happen?
Wait, before we go forward, is that not the reason that Biden said the price of eggs went up because they had to kill a bunch of chickens?
At one point in time, it might have been, but that's not what we're talking about. For the majority of his presidency, especially in the beginning, and then 2022 onwards, where were these big inflation hikes coming from? What were the two huge events that happened?
What I believe was.
Do we not know?
No. Let me tell you. This is what my research that I did. All right, so I brought up the fact that the reason why eggs went up under Biden is because the Biden administration approved the killing of hundreds of thousands of chickens due to some avian flu that no one that mysteriously came out of nowhere. That they laughed at me. They laughed at me like I was just making something up. But we can simply go to Google and ask AI. See, that's the thing. I know the answers to this stuff, but all questions don't deserve an answer if they're asked in bad faith, right? Here we go. Why did the price of eggs go up under Biden? The rise in egg prices during the Biden administration was primarily driven by the worst outbreak of the highly pathogenic H5N1 avian flu in U.S. history, which began in early 2022. This natural disaster reduced the supply of eggs by devastating flocks of egg-laying hens, causing prices to increase significantly. So where did I get cooked? Where did I get cooked? Where did I say something that was wrong? Where did I say something that was inaccurate? No, it just looks like I'm in a room full of ignorant people who do not do research because they think that politics is a religion. So whatever pastors say, you got to believe it and don't ask no questions. So they laugh at me. You're dumb. No, actually, I'm right. And you're dumb and unread and unresearched. But I literally gave that answer. He said with fast words out. At one time, it might have been real quick. While he let his audience believe that it was just preposterous that this was caused by the slaughtering of chickens because of the H5N1 avian flu. Oh, Brandon, you got cooked. No, I didn't. You've been cooked. That's why nothing I say resonates to you because you don't even know the facts. Let's keep going. Because I'll be honest with you, I wasn't deep diving into this because I was working to feed my family. Okay. But I believe the price of energy increased exponentially, and that creates it has a cascade effect. It raises the price of everything. Everything has to be shipped. If you raise the price of energy, then everything that has to be shipped, the price will go up. Okay, I'm about to do a magic trick. Ready? We know you're about to do a magic trick. Ready? Make that disappear. So for all these people. I'm curious. Right. Why was the last year of Trump's presidency so horrible for the economy? COVID. It was. Okay. So the whole world economy is shut down. Mm-hmm. The government is having to keep things running in every country. Mm-hmm. Hey guys, I'm passing this up not because Destiny got cooked any less. I'm not trying to get a strike on my channel for C19 misinformation and all that stuff, right? Now, let's go back to the energy issue. Why were prices so high under Biden? Because Biden's bad policies and his executive orders increased the cost of energy exponentially. Right? Because no one trusts me, my research. Let's go to AI again. You have information. I'm going to AI because I want to show you how easy it is for one of these plebes to go do a little bit of research so they can know what the heck is going on in their own country. Did Biden increase the price of energy? Several reports indicate that energy prices have risen significantly since President Biden took office in January 2021. Electricity up 29% since Biden got elected. Gasoline up 52% since Biden got elected. Diesel up 50.4% since Biden got elected. Understand, gasoline, diesel, these are the ways that your products move around the country to get on the shelves. So if these fuel sources raise in price, the price of the items that they are used to transport is gonna rise exponentially. Understand that. The increases are attributed to various factors, including inflation and rising energy demand. The Biden administration's policies aimed at transitioning towards clean energy, such as the Inflation Reduction Act. And that's why everyone kept saying that the Inflation Reduction Act actually increased inflation, because buried inside of that act was a bunch of green energy funding that was raising the price of fossil fuels because it was taking away from the America's ability to explore and exploit fossil fuels. Biden shut down a bunch of exploratory oil contracts in the United States. Well, if you don't allow the fossil fuel market to find sources of fossil fuels that they can exploit in the future, guess what happens? It creates something called uncertainty. And in capitalism, when there is uncertainty, guess what? The price goes up. Basic economics, but they laughed it off like it wasn't nothing. This is why they can't win an election. Because when they don't know something, they just start laughing at you, hoping to embarrass you so that you'll just capitulate. I was about to say capitulate. Just so that you will capitulate to their ignorance. Guys, this is soft Google searches that prove everything that I'm saying. Oh, you're an idiot. Bro, come on, man. The children are our future. The future ain't looking good. The future ain't looking good if that's the future. I'm just saying. It's less than a Google search. It's simple logic. Hey, do me a favor, guys. If you haven't already, please like the video. Please share the video. And please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And feel free to hit the Cash App or the Super Chat. I will be reading Super Chats here in a minute. Let's keep going. This thing is almost over.
Why can we blame COVID for
Let's keep going.
all the states that shut down?
The states are sovereign. So
then why does Biden get blamed for anything?
Can I finish? Can I finish?
Sorry, go ahead.
Can I finish?
You can finish.
Okay. The blue states shut down, draconian lockdowns. The red states, most of them did not. So that's the sovereignty of the state. But when Biden came into office, Biden was putting the pressure on the states to shut down. He was putting the pressure on the businesses of the states to lock down. So when Biden came into office, he was pressuring the Democrat apparatus within each state to put pressure on the Republican-led states to institute and implement lockdowns and shutdowns. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. So they would go in, they will hold up the political process in their state and try to force the Republicans or conservatives to capitulate to draconian measures to combat COVID that were, see, this is where we get in trouble, right? These guys argue, oh, Texas was shut down. Florida was shut down. No, they weren't. Texas shut down for 1 month and then opened right back up. Florida was shut down. Florida was shut down for, I think, from April. And by the time September rolled around, Florida was totally open under Trump. But Donald Trump did not shut these states down. That was up to the states themselves. So they try to push this narrative, well, Trump did shutdowns. Trump never did shutdowns. Actually, when the states were shutting down, Trump encouraged them to open up. And let's go to simple Google search again. Did Trump shut down states during COVID? Go in AI mode. Share. I'm gonna share the tab. I shared the tab before the answer even popped up because I'm so certain he didn't do that, even though Destiny tried to lie and say that he did. Let's go right here. What did it say? Did Trump shut down states during COVID? Right here. No. Donald Trump did not have the constitutional authority to order states to shut down during the COVID-19 pandemic. The power to issue statewide public health mandates, including stay-at-home and lockdown orders, is reserved for state governors and local authorities. So then they started arguing, well, the Republican states were shutting down. The Republican states were shutting down. I literally said most of the Republican states did not shut down. If you go to Texas, right? Because they tried to bring somebody commented in the comments, I'm from Texas, and we were totally shut down in 2020, right? He's a liar. He's a total liar. Texas shut down for, I think, 1 month during COVID. Let's go right here. Let's go to AI again. Did Texas shut down during COVID? No, Texas did not shut down other states during COVID-19. Only the federal government has the authority to restrict. Oh shoot, I wrote that wrong. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Let me get that right. Did Texas shut down during COVID? Hold on. I'm going to AI mode to get all the information available. Okay, let's go right here. Yes, Texas implemented a statewide stay-at-home order and other restrictions during the COVID-19 pandemic, though it was one of the earlier states to lift its mandates and restrictions. Like I said, they only shut down for about a month, about 30 days, and they did not shut down, right? They just said stay at home, and they reduced the travel. The specific measures included closing certain businesses and limiting social gatherings, right? Now let's go right here. Statewide stay-at-home order. On March 31st, 2020, Governor Abbott issued a modified stay-at-home work safe executive order. It required Texans to minimize in-person contact with people outside of their households unless it was to perform or obtain essential services. Now look at when they open back up. They shut down in March 31st. They literally were shut down for 1 month. And then in May, they began a phased reopening of the economy in May 2020, even as some local governments maintained stricter rules. I'm not going to read it. By 20 So they were closed for a month. And you know how you know that Texas did not shut down like that? Because remember, that's where everybody was going to get away from COVID lockdowns. You don't remember when everybody was running to Houston during COVID? No one remembers this. No one remembers when everybody was at biscuits and gravy and all this mess, turkey leg and shit during COVID. People were literally, some people moved temporarily to Houston into Texas because they wanted to get away from lockdowns. Same thing with Florida, another red state. Do you remember when Congresswoman Andrea Ocasio-Cortez got caught in Florida with her boyfriend while she was in New York, forcing people to go under draconian lockdowns? Do you remember that? Everybody has this long-term or short-term memory loss. This is all I'm telling you. Why were all these people running to Florida and Texas during COVID if these states were locked down. It was just a lie from the pit of hell. And they were all trying to push that. And I was just like, these people are just, most of these people there were 20 years old. Bro, you was 15 during COVID. You want me to believe that at the age of 15, you were following the news closely? You were too busy trying to figure out how to buy beer and Xanax. But that's why they go at the youth. Because a year or two ago, they didn't give a damn about none of this. So there's no way they can have information that's up to date. It's a very clever, not so clever shell game that they're playing. When the president says something, that gives validity to the illegal things that the states are doing. If Gavin Newsom is doing illegal shutdowns, if the president says, yeah, you should shut down, now it's easier for them to do because people
kind of guidelines. And then whenever
we're going past
not
the COVID
anymore.
stuff. Do you guys want? I'm okay. So bad faith. Everything in this movie,
everybody else for all of his problems.
Okay, so this is where this dude's about to get cooked again, and we're gonna wrap it up after this one. Oh, I gotta let you guys come up. We're not gonna disrespect the president. We all watched the video. We all watched the video of Anthony Fauci saying, "Oh, COVID-19 is not a big deal. You're getting you. What would you have done?"
I just told you.
No, you didn't.
Information and crazy stuff that was being put out.
So you don't know what Trump should have done.
People probably don't like him because he's an asshole.
What?
President?
That's the point. It yours and mine since we're doing so well.
I've never advocated for that. What are
I'm
you
just
talking
asking.
about? Well, there's no advocation for that.
Can I ask my question?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. All I'm saying is, will you, since we're all about flowers and equality and everybody get free stuff, people will argue for illegal criminal alien migrants to come live off the American dime, right? You want to give my taxpayer dollars to them. Will you give the proceeds from this event to these kids for whatever they want, just to make their life a little bit more equal to yours and mine since we're doing so well?
I've never advocated for that. What are
I'm
you
just
talking
asking.
about? Well, there's no advocation for this.
So you don't want equity and economic equity.
Do you support Chicago police fighting?
Here we go. Now he's talking about Chicago police. But do you see what I'm talking about? That question killed him because these people talk about equity and inclusion and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, look, if you want to be if you want to have economic equity, let's start right here, right now. Give these people their damn money back that they gave you to come to this event. If you want everybody to be included, why didn't you just have this at the park and use an iPhone so everybody could come for free? And he deflected from it. No one's advocating for that. That's the entire premise of the argument of the left. Wealth redistribution. Take from the rich, give to the poor. That is how they get people to vote for them. No one's advocating for that. I'm like, yeah, they are. What about the Chicago PD? And then said some nonsensical stuff. Went into a whole argument with me about law enforcement. I said, bro, that has nothing to do with this question I asked about you giving the proceeds of that event back to those people in the audience. And when I first brought it up, they actually started cheering a little bit, which was crazy. But that's the hypocrisy, and I tried to circle it back to my original point I was making, that their entire premise is hypocritical because they want other people to do things that they're not willing to do. Remember, Destiny earlier in the video said he was rich. He said he was rich. He wants to take from the rich and give to the poor as long as it's not him. We had an argument. I'll let this play a little bit because he was wrong about this too.
Going off of emotions. You think cops are there to make you feel good?
Federal government,
state police are there for state laws. Local police are for local laws. The federal government is for federal laws.
The federal government trumps, no pun intended, any local law enforcement.
If they trump any local law enforcement, well, you tell me, why did Trump allow half the country to close then under COVID?
Huh?
Why did Trump allow half the
goalposts, Destiny?
I'm not moving the
doing that
goalposts.
with
The president has that
I'm
much
not doing
control
that
over
with you.
everything.
I'm not
Then
doing
why
that
did
with
Trump
you.
allow half the country to close under COVID?
Someone may want to do that with you, but I'm not doing it. Are we talking about the police departments committing treason against the federal
They're not committing
government?
to. They have no obligation.
That's exactly what they're
They
doing.
don't have
do.
obligation to enforce federal
They
law.
took an oath to defend the Constitution and the citizens under their care.
The police force is there to enforce the laws that they have jurisdiction
Right.
over.
But
not federal laws.
But the police forces are abandoning their responsibility, like in Portland.
They don't have an
Come
obligation
on,
to
man.
do that.
They did. When you call the police in Portland, they don't show up for 3 hours. Someone got knocked unconscious the other day in Portland. The ICE agents had to come get that guy off the street and bring him in for medical care.
Yeah, there was a lady that got shot and killed by the feds in the Capitol building on January 6th when Trump refused to send anybody there.
She shouldn't have been trying to break into Congress.
Sure, but Trump also probably shouldn't have told them all to go there, right?
He did tell him to go peacefully.
No, he said they would be marching peacefully. They also don't fight like hell, or they're going to lose their country, and that's what they went and did.
Hey, I saw you lose this argument on Jubilee.
I didn't lose this argument. I won it
this
completely. It's completely 100%.
Listen,
I know every part of that argument.
Trump said peacefully and patriotically.
Trump said fight like hell, or you'll lose your country. If he said peacefully and patriotically, how do so many people misunderstand him?
So anytime
is he a bad communicator too?
Listen, how did we get from Chicago PD to January 6th? That's my question. How did we get from Chicago PD to January 6th? This guy is the king of pivoting, moving the goalposts, and word salad. I heard Hillary Clinton say, "I'm a fighter." Kamala Harris said, "I'm a fighter." Neither one of these women have ever.
How many people do you see fighting in the street with Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris banners?
Dude, I saw a kook on the freeway earlier. Biden, Harris, and Harris Walls on the freaking bumper sticker with all these other cat stickers.
These are car driving.
These are. How did they get?
This is like the conservative machine right here. This is your problem. Is the bumper stickers. That's what's driving you crazy.
I'm just listen, Destiny. I'm a common man, and my concern.
You had 4 trips to Africa over COVID. What kind of common man?
Very common. I'm a common man.
Oh, they're going to lose their country, and that's what they went and did.
I'm
not moving the goalposts. Police fighting back against ICE.
No.
Okay, so then you don't believe in the Second Amendment or the state's rights to have a militia.
During COVID.
Maybe, yeah.
He should have never conceded the free stuff. People will argue for illegal criminal alien wars in mind since we're doing so well.
I've never advocated what the militia is. The whole reason the
wars in mind since we're doing so well.
I've never advocated for that. What are you talking about? Well, there's no advocation for this.
So you don't want equity and economic equity. Okay, I want to show you another lie that he told about the police departments of America.
Do you support Chicago police fighting back against ICE?
No.
Okay, so then you don't believe in the Second Amendment or the state's rights to have a militia.
No, that's not a militia.
That's literally what the militia is.
So he's saying that the police of cities, the police departments of cities have a obligation to fight against federal agents in defense of the citizens. And he says that these are militias, right? These are militias. That's literally what a militia is. Because he probably thinks I don't know basic history, but he'd be wrong. I'm going to let him say it again. Where's the mind since we're doing so well?
I've never advocated for that. What are you talking about? Well, there's no advocation for this.
So you don't want equity and economic equity.
Do you support Chicago police fighting back against ICE?
No.
Okay, so then you don't believe in the Second Amendment or the state's rights to have a militia.
No, that's not a militia.
That's literally what the militia is.
Do you see the SEALs clapping? Yeah, it sounds good to them because they don't even know the laws of their own country.
The whole reason the Second Amendment exists was for the states to protect themselves from a tyrannical government.
Are you really going to try to conflate a paramilitary group, which is police?
The Chicago police?
The police department?
Is paramilitary, but the guys coming from the Black Hawk choppers with the masks who are...
Dude, these guys have... Listen, he tried to argue that the police are a militia. Police departments around America are paramilitary groups. They're not militias. Let's go right here. Boom. AI overview. Very simple. I don't know why people don't use this more because they don't want to know. They just want support for what they want to believe. Right here. Our police departments paramilitary, right? Hold on. Now, what it's AI? Are police departments paramilitary? Let's make this bigger so y'all can see it. Yes, police forces are often considered paramilitary organizations. That right there makes them that disqualifies them from being militias. Now we're getting into the real meat of like understanding your country. Yes, they are paramilitary organizations because they adopt a hierarchical structure, military style uniforms, ranks, and organizational tactics. Though they differ from military forces in their civilian function of public safety rather than national defense, this paramilitary model allows for effective command and control during emergencies and has been reinforced by the transfer of military equipment and training to civilian law enforcement agencies. That's why you got police departments with tanks and stuff. They're paramilitary groups. He lied. They're not paramilitary. He wants the police departments of America to literally fight against government agents. Guys, come on, man. That's why I keep telling you, when y'all listen to me, you guys are not listening to an idiot. You're listening to someone who does his research. It knows, no, oh, you need Google. No, I don't. I know this stuff. I don't have no phone up there. But some things don't deserve a response when someone is being disingenuous, saying stuff just to say it for shock value. Tanks. There are police departments with tanks. No, there's not.
Paramilitaries have tanks. What are you talking about? What does that have to do with anything?
There are police departments with tanks.
So, yeah, they get from the military.
That makes them paramilitary. What I'm telling you is this, bruh, how are you guys saying this man cooked me, bro? How is anyone saying this man cooked me? There is no way in hell this guy cooked me. I cooked him. Anyone who watches this with an unbiased, objective lens, I cooked this guy and it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. He even admitted that they're paramilitary. And you know, some idiot in the audience said, they're not paramilitary. I said, yeah, they are. They have their phones. Let me show you how idiotic these people are. They have their phones and they won't even use their phones in their hands to Google the things that we're saying to see what's true and what's not. That is not a militia. The police, the law enforcement's job is to uphold and defend the Constitution. That's what their job is.
To enforce their
when
state
they're
laws.
fighting against
to
the
enforce
federal,
their state laws.
when they're
state sovereignty doesn't matter now to conservatives.
You're conflating two different
I'm not
things.
conflating anything.
Law enforcement's job is to defend the Constitution. Do the police have a take an oath to defend the Constitution? Very simple Google search. AI overview. Yes, police officers typically take an oath of office that includes a solemn promise to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Why do Destiny argue this stuff? Why does he argue these things when he knows he's wrong? He was getting his ass cooked. I see why he never wanted to debate people like Charlie Kirk. He would have got destroyed by Charlie. He got destroyed by me. You kind of just going off of an emotional thing.
I'm not going off an emotional. I'm going off
really
a legal thing. You're going off of emotions. You think cops are there to make you feel
the
good.
Federal government,
state police are there for state laws. Local police are for local laws. The federal government is for federal laws.
The federal government trumps, no pun intended, any local law enforcement.
If they trump any local law enforcement, well, you tell me, why did Trump allow half the country to close then under COVID? Well, they're going to lose their country, and that's what they went and did.
Hey, I saw you lose this argument earlier. Biden, Harris,
states' rights to defend themselves.
As I got on.
Okay. All right.
This country and your children. Trump will be president for the next. So that's the end of the debate, but they let me get a final statement. And I just spoke directly to the audience because, like, come on, man. Common man, my concerns are those of a common man. Arguing all these different issues, it means nothing to me.
Not compared to DEI.
How do I feed my family? And are you going to give the proceeds from this event to these beautiful people who showed up? I don't think they got the show they wanted because those first 3 guys were terrible.
After you defend states' rights to defend themselves from a tyrannical federal government.
How about this, guys? How about I'll give you everything in my pocket. You guys divide it up immediately. Destiny donates the proceeds of this event to you guys equally.
All right,
I
final.
think that's a good idea.
Brandon gets the final word there. Brandon gets the final word. What do you got?
My final word is this, guys. Just wait a little while. Don't be so. Listen. Don't be so hyped up over what's happening even now. In 3 years, Donald Trump's going to be gone, and you're going to have to make a very important decision about the future of this country. I would start preparing to make the right decision about that instead of complaining about something you can't change. Trump will be president for the next 3 years, whether you like it or not. In 4 years, a lot changes. A lot of you will have families, maybe kids, whatever that you want or you don't want. When you start having those type of responsibilities, your entire perspective is going to change. Mine did as I got older. I would not hang my hat on this crap because you're going to inherit this country and your children will inherit it from you. Don't create a situation that they can't come back from. And I think that's what we're at risk at with this type of rhetoric. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Brandon. Put your hands together for Brandon. He had a really good run. All right.
Hey, man, I'm going to the gym tomorrow. I was like 4 inches off my midsection of being like straight sexy, dude. I was looking good up there. I ain't gonna lie. Look, I had the whole like attractive, somewhat fat buff dad thing going on right here. I was cooking. You know what I'm saying? I know those ladies in the audience was getting moist. Look at bro. I look like I'm made for this, man. Don't I? I look he got that look like he's made for this shit. Like I'll break your freaking neck if you don't agree with me. But yeah, man, I'm talking to those kids, just lacing them up with some game, man. I'm not over here trying to like fleece them for like their lunch money or any of that stuff. I'm just trying to tell them the reality. You're not going to care about this stuff in the next few years when you get real responsibility. Whether you like it or not, Donald Trump is going to be president for the next 3 years. You might as well start getting together, organizing to figure out how you're going to make sure that a Democrat wins the White House next time. That beats complaining and trying to undermine your president. But they can't see it because they're so like blinded, by emotions. Guys, I'm going to give everyone a chance to come up and give their opinion. We are at 112. We're going to probably an hour and 30 mark, but we'll finish sooner. But yeah, so when you guys out here, the StreamYard link is in the comments. So when you guys out here hearing people, oh, he got cooked, it's a lie. You guys just sat here and listened to this whole debate. There's not a single thing Destiny cooked me on. Not a single freaking thing. Neighborhood Herald, just know being on some of these larger platforms without pay gives you the exposure that's more valuable than one payout. Well, I got paid and I got the exposure. I'll take it. Thank you, my brother, Neighborhood Herald. Sticks and Stones LA 100. Support the Bros channel. Thank you, Sticks and Stones LA. I appreciate you. We getting back up there. The number, I'm telling you, I'm looking at it. The numbers are trending up. So we doing good. We doing good right now. The Neighborhood Herald, again, thank you for the $5 holler. This is proof Adam needs to pay this man and keep someone that will challenge their liberal ideology on no jumper. Proud of you, big fella. Thank you so much, Neighborhood Herald. I appreciate that. Hey, I have no disagreement with that. You have a person who could get in the ring and spar with anyone in a political conversation. And you don't want to have that person on payroll. You should have that person on payroll. This guy is our debate guy. This guy is the one when we get a big name to come in here who's very opinionated. A Nick Fuentes or a Destiny or Candace Owens or someone like that. Shit, we could start a whole nother channel that has more like of a cleaner look and get some big names on there. But hey, look, it is what it is, man. But this is what I'm telling you. Like when I say, pay me and stuff like that, just understand it's not me being arrogant. It's me knowing my worth, guys. Like, understand, I can sit and debate with the best. And I'm not talking down on anyone at No Jumper, but understand we're just not on the same level. We're not on the same level when it comes to having a comprehensive understanding of like politics and different phenomena within our country, in our culture, and in our planet. Like, I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. But I don't want to sit up and talk about what it's like in jail every day and what the wristbands mean and all this stuff. Like, let's elevate the conversation. When you were at the event with Adam, did you talk about pay? Actually, we didn't. I never even brought it up. But we had to, like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like we had like conversations in the car ride over that could have been a straight up podcast. Like, we were chopping about some good stuff. Like, hold on. But I swear, like, in the car ride over, we had some pretty interesting conversations. Pauline Williams. I don't think Destiny is dumb at all. I think Destiny just has a nice little niche that he operates in. And he's like, look, hey, keeping them in one little area, that's how I feed my family. And he's doing his due diligence. See, that's my issue. I'm too honest. I'm too honest. Most of these people are like, they don't give a damn about lying to you. They're just like, hey, if they want to believe it, let's give them what they want to believe. Sticks and Stones LA, 100K views in one day. Debating Destiny. Salute 100. Keep doing you. Keep doing your stuff. Nah, 100. Like, we got 100,000 views in one day. We got 85,000 views in like 14 hours. Now, of course, Destiny would be, mostly responsible for that. But the views are the views. And everybody was like, that black dude's part was the best. But what I want you to understand is that when you're in these spaces, you're in an echo chamber. You're not in a place where they're like trying to hear like alternative views. They want Destiny to basically get up there and make anyone who doesn't agree with them look like an idiot. And you guys watch the same debate I watched. Look at these comments. The black guy is one of the most confident, stupid people I have ever seen. This is probably the single biggest example of what's wrong with MAGA. First guy say he lives his life by the law, but votes for a felon. Ha ha ha. This first guy is sub 80 IQ. The first guy is an absolute moron. First dude really said, if you don't respect the government, then what do you care about? Why do you care about what they're doing? Republicans learned the phrase good faith yesterday and can't stop pretending they know what it means. Dems think MAGA are stupid. Yes, they are. Laugh out loud. The first debater is one of the phoniest, most bottom of the barrel sloganeer dolts looking for nothing but gotcha moments. And he's not very good at. See, all they have is insults. They kind of remind me of the audience at No Jumper. All they have is insults. They can never tell you what you were lying about. They can never tell you what you were wrong about. They insult you to feel better about not knowing the things that you educated them on. And then they just keep it moving. They could say what they want to say. But clearly the first guy was the most entertaining, was the most challenging for Destiny. That's why they moved me from the middle to the front of the video. And that's why you guys are commenting about it. Of course, this is Destiny's echo chamber. And that's what it is. It's an echo chamber. And that's okay. We just make sure that we don't create an echo chamber over here. That's the biggest thing. But yeah, we sitting on 100,000 views. Pause. In one day. You know, that's that money right there. But hey, I don't. And even Adam said on his thing, he said, I must admit,
the Republicans mostly living.
He said he had to admit that the live stream, Destiny's live stream, was at like 5,000 viewers when I got on stage, and by the time I got off the stage, it was at 7,000 viewers. So I brought in 2,000 viewers. But it's all good, man. Let them call names, but they can't point out what I was wrong about because we fact checked ourselves. Live on air. Harold. You should have plugged Defiant with Brandon Tucker. I actually did. Afterwards, I was shaking people's hand. People were very happy. They were very happy that they got a chance to they were very happy that they got a chance to actually see some debate, because everything else was just like agreement. Everybody was agreeing with this dude. Like it was kind of crazy, actually. It was kind of weird, but that's where we live in. Like this guy.
Claim is that AI is going to threaten a lot of jobs. Automation is going to threaten jobs that can't be replaced. The retort is that this is the lump of labor fallacy. We always find more work to do. And then the counter retort is that AI or general intelligence represents a type of like intellectual work or creative work or automated work that it is actually going to be new compared to anything that's happened before. And then the counter is like, yeah, so that's where I'm at. So I don't know I don't know enough facts to go into, yeah.
Right. So the response to automation is that there will be new work.
Yeah.
Right. I think that ultimately the net loss of jobs will be greater than the jobs that are created. I think we have what you can call corporate capitalism, right? We've depended on corporations for jobs, right? That's literally every single one of us like depends on a corporation, unless you're a small business owner, which, right? But I think that I would take the automation.
Yeah, shit was boring. Like people were literally dozing off, but it is what it is. But guys, look, no one wants to come up and talk. I guess you guys were satisfied with my commentary and coverage of this event. I don't think anyone sent anything on Cash App. I don't want to miss anybody. Let me double check. No, they did not. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for everything you do for this channel. I appreciate all of you so much. I love that we got a nice audience, about 100 people watching on YouTube, about 14 people watching on X for a purely political topic. That means we are going in the right direction. And the day will come when we have 1,000 people watching on here. And all it is for me to keep up the work and you guys to keep on watching, clicking the like button, hitting the like button, and spreading the word. Thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate everything you do for me in this channel. Till the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.